This video is brought to you by Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan and use code Dan for a special offer. And stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody and welcome to my review of The Wild Robot, which is in theaters now. It's the latest film from DreamWorks Animation, and this one comes from director Chris Sanders, who co-directed The Croods, How to Train Your Dragon, and Lilo and Stitch, and takes on this as a solo animated project. He also wrote the screenplay based on Peter Brown's book. In The Wild Robot, Lupita Nyong'o voices Rosm7134, known as Roz, a robot who washes ashore on an island inhabited only by animals. Roz exists solely as a helper robot, but is able to find her task among the wildlife on the island.
Without an assigned task, my next priority is to return to factory.
Taking care of him is your task now.
Task acquired.
In addition to Lupita Nyong'o, the voice cast includes Pedro Pascal as a fox named Fink, Kit Connor as a young goose named Bright Bill, who sees Roz as a mother figure. It should be noted that Kit Connor is a lead on the Netflix series Heartstopper. I said Heartbreaker in a review last week, and boy did I hear about it, but not nearly as much as trying to correctly pronounce the name of actor Giancarlo Esposito.
Hello, my name is Giancarlo Esposito.
The voice cast also includes Bill Nighy, Catherine O'Hara, Stephanie Hsu, Mark Hamill, Matt Berry, and Ving Rhames. And what I love about the voice cast and the people they chose is that this isn't just a movie that's filled with 10 A-list names voicing the characters. Yes, these are celebrities, these are recognizable names, but they also play characters. They give performances as the voices of these animals, and then in Lupita Nyong'o's case as Roz, a robot. And I think that's what's been missing from a lot of the big star-studded animated films is they get these big names to play these parts, but those actors don't really add much to these animated characters other than being able to recognize a voice that you know from other things. So I think it was smart to choose this cast because yes, they are famous people, but Pedro Pascal, for example, I didn't even recognize that it was his voice until the end of the movie and the credits rolled. And that was the same for most people, including Mark Hamill. I mean, Mark Hamill's done so much voice acting. It's such a recognizable voice, but he was playing a character and he gave that character certain qualities. And that's one of the many things that I liked about this movie is they use the cast well and not just for their names and something to put on a poster. And it's all led by Lupita Nyong'o, who I think gives a great vocal performance as Roz. A robot voice is kind of tough to do, but she has this very warm, nurturing quality to her performance that starts as a function of Roz's programming and then slowly becomes a part of just who Roz is as she discovers what her role in the world is going to be. And I like the performance here, and I like how that role is written, because this isn't just a wacky robot that's along for some crazy nature adventures. There's an actual arc, there's an actual story, there's a journey that we go on with this character, and that's important. The first thing that really struck me about the movie, though, was just how beautiful it is. This movie is absolutely gorgeous. Chris Stover, who was the cinematographer and head of layout for this film, also did Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for DreamWorks, and it has that same kind of watercolor comes to life look. And I think that the look of the film is worth seeing it on the big screen alone. Even if nothing else was really remarkable about the movie, just the way that it feels. It actually, I think, surpasses the look of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I thought was a beautiful movie. And I would say it joined Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as far as recent movies, let's say in the last 10 or 15 years in the realm of animation, that I think are really pushing the envelope and have delivered just some absolutely incredible imagery. There's 10, 15, 20 still images from this movie that I would be happy to hang up on my wall. The Wild Robot, though, is not all looks. It's a story that's got a lot of heart. And the thing about the story of the film is that it's a simple story, but simple doesn't always mean unsophisticated or lightweight, because this is also a story that's charged with a lot of emotion and a lot of heavy themes about discovering who you are, about motherhood, about finding where you fit in. I mean, all of the things that we've seen in other films, I think this film weaves in very nicely. And it also has a lot of moments of danger and peril. I think that younger kids who go see this movie may need to hold the hands of the adult or guardian who's with them, because it's not horrific or graphic or anything like that. But there are times where you fear for these characters, but not in an excessive way, just in the way that danger is a part of life. And this movie's a lot about discovering life for the first time. I think that it's a movie that has good messages, but also isn't a message movie. If you look in the background, you can see that they're making some statements about the planet and the state of the world, etc. But that doesn't become the headline. The headline is the characters and the story that's being told. And the story really is key here. It's a very moving story in many parts, and it's one of those movies that I point to when people talk about animation, when I say that animation isn't just for kids. Yes, this is an animated film. Yes, I think a lot of people will take their kids, but this is a movie that I think could be appreciated by people of any age because it's just a really, really well-told story. If I were to cast my vote today for the best animated film of 2024, The Wild Robot would get that vote easily. And that's not to denigrate Inside Out 2, which is a movie that I really liked, and there's still some animated films that have yet to come out this year, but I really, really liked this movie a lot. And I've got to be honest, I didn't really care much about this movie going in. I'd seen the trailers, I was like, oh, okay, well, that looks all right. It got some hype on the festival circuit, which kind of piqued my interest, but walking in, I didn't really have any expectations or preconceived notions. Walking out of the theater, I can say comfortably, this isn't just my favorite animated film of the year so far. This is one of my favorite films of the year so far. It really is that good. And so given that, I guess it's no surprise that I'm going to give The Wild Robot a see it now rating on my personal scale, but also a little bit differently, I'm going to say that this is not a recommendation, but a request. Original animation and original animated stories are having a harder and harder time breaking through. If you look at the box office, the last time that an original animated film broke the $200 million domestic mark was Coco, and that was 7 years ago. And every time an original animated film comes out and audiences don't go to see it, that just encourages the studios to put more and more into sequels and to stop making original stories. And I'm not saying that an animated film is worth seeing just because it's an original story. I was very kind of famously felt mediocre about Elemental. There's some other animated films that were original stories that I wouldn't say this about, but this I think is a very special movie. And the fact that it is also an original story, to me as somebody who wants to see more movies like this, that kind of raises the stakes a little bit. I think this is an exceptional movie. I think the craft makes it worthy of being seen on a big screen, but I think the story makes it worthy of your time and money. And it's similar to another movie that came out 25 years ago, back in 1999. It was an animated film, it was about a robot, and it was called The Iron Giant. And it did not do well at the box office at all. And over the years, people discovered it on home video at that time. And I think it's now considered by a lot of people to be a classic animated film. And I've heard people say, oh, The Iron Giant was so good. Why didn't more people go and see it? I don't want people to say that about this movie 25 years from now. If you want to support good movies or original animated movies, then I think this is the one to pick. Don't let this be the movie that you see on Peacock or wherever it's going to end up streaming in 6 months and say, oh, wow, I wish I would have gone to see that. That was actually pretty good. Because that doesn't really do much to tell the studios that an audience is going to show up for an original movie like this, which will always lead to investment. Money isn't everything at the box office. The Iron Giant is a great proof of that. But it does lead studios as far as where they're going to put their resources, where they're going to put their dollars. And I want to see more movies like this. And I think that most people would want to see more movies like this. This isn't a movie like The Creator, which was another movie that wasn't based on IP and didn't do well at the box office, where I feel like I'm going to probably be a little bit higher on it than a lot of other people, and I was definitely more in the positive camp than most on that movie. I really sincerely do think that if you give this movie a shot, that almost any audience is going to enjoy it. So if you're one of those people who's tired of sequels and prequels and reboots and all of that stuff, and you're looking for an original film to support, but you're also conscious of the fact that going to the movies is expensive, I would request that you take my recommendation, take the recommendation of so many other critics out there, and give your money, give your support to this movie. And I know it's a lot to ask people to give money to anything, but I really, really think that if you choose to see The Wild Robot, you're not going to regret it. So those are my thoughts on The Wild Robot. What do you think? Will you be heading out to see this original animated film? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Miracle Made. The leaves are changing and the nights are getting cooler. And you've heard me talk about how Miracle Made sheets keep me cool in the summer, but they also keep you warm as the temperatures start to drop. That's because Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating, which means they're designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter what the temperature is, using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA. Not only do they keep you comfortable so you can get a good night's sleep every night, they're also self-cleaning, preventing up to 99.7% of bacterial growth and staying fresh 3 times longer than other sheets, while staying as comfortable as the sheets that you'll find in a lot of fancy hotels. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan to try Miracle Made sheets today, and whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40% off. And if you use our promo code Dan at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan and use the code Dan to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Dan to treat yourself. Thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here, as always, for more movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.